So look, if you're anything like me and you've started a YouTube journey and you've made perhaps a couple of videos that you look back on now at this stage in the early days and say, oh, I don't know if I really like them, and they make you cringe a little bit, the one thing you shouldn't do is delete them. Because here's a thought. Perhaps that video, that embarrassing video that you created once upon a time, was maybe the smartest move you've ever done. And if you give me a few minutes of your time, I'm positive that I'm going to convince you that perhaps uploading that content was a smart decision. So as always, let's get into it. So why should we keep these old videos? Why should we keep these relics and antiques knocking around on our channel when we perhaps look back at them and we feel a bit cringy and they put us off a little bit? The fact of the matter is that they're kind of like a proof of growth. You know, you're looking back at them and you can relate to where you are now as to where perhaps you were once upon a time when you started. And when you segment that video into kind of like your journey that you're on right now, it explains a story. It shows your journey. It shows you how far you've kind of come. Trust me, I've got videos on my YouTube channel that I look at now and I really want to delete them, and I nearly have a couple of times. But in some sense of the matter, I think that people actually quite like seeing how you've evolved over time, you know, through this journey, through this creation process that you've embarked on. When people are looking at this, they're kind of almost like they're being able to relate to you. They can see that, you know, it shows that you're just human and you're kind of like them. You know, you're on a journey and you go through struggles and you're not polished, preen and perfect. If you perhaps have someone else on YouTube that you follow, like a favourite creator or someone that you've watched for quite a long time, I guarantee if you scroll back through their videos to those beginning videos, first of all, they're still there and they haven't deleted them. That should explain a lot. And when you do see them, it kind of makes you think, oh, look, you know, it gives you that example that, you know, there is a beginning for everyone. So you could argue in some sense of the matter by taking those early videos, those cringy videos off your channel, just because you feel insecure about them, you're kind of robbing your audience of that heritage, you know, that beginning part of your story. Kind of think of your early videos like a learning tool. Utilize them in the sense that you can look back at them, and through doing that you're going to kind of see your weak spots and your strong spots, and you're going to be able to put time and effort into, you know, making the strong bit stronger and kind of trying to stay away from the weak spots. So utilize those videos to your benefit. Don't just delete them. Your viewers genuinely like seeing where you've started from. I promise you they do. And by keeping that on your channel, you're kind of creating like this like a permission slip for everyone else, so that, you know, they can look at it and say, yeah, you know, I've got a reason, you know, I'm allowed to kind of start slow and be imperfect because this guy has as well, you know. Another point to remember, okay, is that old videos still work. During this process, especially when you kind of switch from being a consumer to a creator, you forget in your own mind that like YouTube is a search engine. You know, it is ever existing. That content or that perhaps video that you posted a year or two ago can suddenly blow up, can suddenly become relevant. And, you know, perhaps if you'd have deleted it early on, it would never have had the chance. You know, it might be something more than you actually realise right now. I promise you, right, the videos from the past will still pull in views. It's very rare that when you start a YouTube channel, any of your videos are going to instantly take off. You know, we've been drawn into this narrative that we see other content creators on YouTube post a video and they just roll up thousands and thousands upon thousands of views very, very easily. But that is genuinely not the norm. So I think you need to kind of take that idea out of your mind and realise that that's not going to necessarily be the case for you. And if you have a video that you post and it doesn't get those, you know, views early on and it doesn't get that traction, don't be discouraged by it. Because then when you get discouraged by it, it leads you to, you know, where you are, you know, in the sense that you want to kind of delete it, you know, and in the worst case scenario, you then do delete it. So I think we can see how this knock-on effect can happen and affect especially people that are new to this platform and that are new to content creation. It can affect them in a negative way and can be very discouraging. So try not to allow that and, you know, help put a bit of perspective to it. So remember that by deleting a video, you're cutting off any long-term growth that video might potentially have. Because there's nothing really wrong with just leaving it there. I mean, who cares? At least you've got a chance that it might blow up. So I don't think you really lose anything by, you know, deleting it anyway. And, for instance, if it's sat there and it's not getting any views, who's watching it? So I get it, okay? We all create videos, I certainly have, that we look back on, that we think are cringy, and we really have this urge to delete them. But just remember, because it genuinely comes from a little bit of embarrassment. It doesn't come from logic. You know, think about it. Early videos are beneficial. You know, emotionally, creatively, and algorithmically, if that's a word. So look, embrace the cringe, okay? It's a sign that you're growing because you're reflecting back on a past sense of you from where you were in your beginning stages, and you're not that anymore. And that cringing process justifies that. So you're doing great. Let your journey be visible, okay? And let people connect with that progress. Write down in the comments below the words, I have if if you created a video and you feel cringy about it and it's still there and you're battling this urge to not delete it. So whatever you do, don't delete it. So if this gave you a little bit more perspective, drop us a like, leave me a comment down below. Perhaps tell me what your worst video was, and you get bonus points if it's still public. And if you're on this YouTube journey and you want honest tips for creators over the age of 30, then hit the subscribe button. I've got more content coming that's going to prevent you from burning out or having to sell your soul in the process. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.